Hello, my name is Pastor Kris Kollar. I'm the pastor of Pleasant Valley Lutheran Church near Malabar Farm State Park and St. Paul Lutheran Church in Lucas, Ohio. Greetings. We are reading through the Bible with commentary, and we are in the book of First Chronicles. And I have to say, it is one of the less interesting parts of the Bible. Why is this being like it is? Okay. It's not exactly a very exciting part, but we have set out to read through the entire Bible. And if we're going to read through the entire Bible, we're going to read through this part too. But the first 8.5, 9 chapters of Chronicles are just name. And these names are important because they put people into context, into where they locate. So we started yesterday with lots of names, and we started with Adam and the idea that you are back to the person that God created, and then all the way down through Adam, through Noah, through Abraham, and then of course the many tribes. Chronicles is particularly interested in the tribe of Judah, which is where today we're going to start with David and Solomon and the descendants of those kings. And so we'll hear almost every single king of the southern kingdom of Judah. We'll also hear the descendants of Judah and hopefully the descendants of Simeon and Reuben. A lot of names. And if you want to skip this, I don't blame you. But I'm still grateful that anybody at all is coming to my YouTube channel and following along. So you could also consider this a little lullaby to put you to sleep, or you could consider this an opportunity to laugh at Pastor Kathy, because I don't know how to pronounce all these names. My Bible has lots of diacritical and accent marks, and some of them I can figure out. Some of them I actually do know. But I often tell people it was 2,500, 3,000 years ago. We don't know how they pronounced it. We have an accepted pronunciation by some people. The reality is it doesn't matter how you pronounce these names. But since we are going to read it out loud, I'm just going to take my best shot. But you can either A, use this as a lullaby and put yourself to sleep. B, use this as an opportunity to laugh at Pastor Kathy. Or C, say, I'm going to hear the entire Bible, even the parts that are just names. And this is literally names. Son, some daughters, a few women. In fact, right now we're going to hear some wives, because we're going to start in chapter 3. These are the sons of David who were born to him in Hebron. So he had lots of other sons, but they basically list the first son of each of his first wives. So these are chapter 3. These are the sons of David who were born to him in Hebron. The firstborn Amnon by Ahinoam the Jezreelite. The second Daniel by Abigail the Carmelite. She was the one who was married to Nabal and who said, oh no, we need to make sure we keep David happy. And after Nabal had a stroke and heart attack and died, then he basically said, please come be my wife. And she said yes. The third, Absalom, son of Maacah, daughter of King Talmai of Geshur, so son of a princess. The fourth, Adonijah, son of Haggith. The fifth, Shephatiah by Abital. The sixth, Ithream by his wife Eglah. Six were born to him in Hebron. He ruled for 7 years and 6 months, and he reigned 33 years in Jerusalem. These were born to him in Jerusalem: Shimeah, Shobab, Nathan, and Solomon. 4 by Bathshua, daughter of Ammiel. Then Ibhar, Elishama, Eliphelet, Noga, Nepheg, Japhiah, Elishama, Eliada, Eliphelet, 9. All of these were David's sons, besides the sons of the concubines, and Tamar was their sister, which we read about her getting raped by her half-brother and all the problems that caused. Verse 10, the descendants of Solomon: Rehoboam, Abijah his son, Asa his son, Jehoshaphat his son, Joram his son, Ahaziah his son, Joash his son, Amaziah his son, Azariah his son, Jotham his son, Ahaz his son, Hezekiah his son, Manasseh his son, Ammon his son, Josiah his son. So those were all of the kings of Judah. The sons of Josiah: Johanan the firstborn, the second Jehoiakim, the third Zedekiah, the fourth Shallum. The descendants of Jehoiakim, Jeconiah his son, Zedekiah his son, and the sons of Jeconiah the captive, Shealtiel his son, Mechiram, Pedaiah, Shenazar, Jechemiah, Hashema, Nedabiah. So a lot of these were the first set were kings, and then these were ones that got taken away to captivity. The sons of Pedaiah, Zerubbabel and Shimei. The sons of Zerubbabel, Meshullam and Hananiah. And Shelomoth was their sister. And Hashubah, Olah, Ohel, Berechiah, Hasadiah, and Jushahisad, 5. Berechiah, Hasadiah, and Jushahisad, 5. I think I just read the same thing twice. Oops. Berechiah, verse 21. The sons of Hadaniah, Pelatiah, and Jeshaiah, his son Rephaiah, his son Arnan, his son Obadiah, his son Shechaniah, the son of Shechaniah, Shemaiah, the sons of Shemaiah, Hattush, Igal, Bariah, Neariah, and Shaphat, 6. The sons of Neariah, Elienai, Hizkiah, and Azikam, 3. The sons of Elienai, Hodaviah, Eliashab, Peliab, Akub, Johanan, Delaiah, and Anani, 7. Are you still with me? I'd be very surprised if anybody actually watches to the very end of this video. I don't blame you if you don't. Chapter 4. The sons of Judah. Perez, Hezron, Carmi, Hur, and Shobal. Reiah, son of Shobal, became the father of Jahath, and Jahath became the father of Ahumai and Lahad. These were the families of the Zorathites. These were the sons of Etam, Jezreel, Ishma, and Idbash. The name of their sister was Hazalaponai, and Penuel was the father of Gedor, and Ezer the father of Husha. These were the sons of Hur, the firstborn of Ephrathah, the father of Bethlehem, because sometimes you'll hear Bethlehem known as Ephrathah, and it's the father of could also be the founder of. Hashur, the father of Tekoa, had 2 wives, Helah and Nearah. Nearah bore him Hazuzam, Hefer, Temenai, and Haahashtarai. These were the sons of Nearah. The sons of Helah, Zereth, Izhar, and Ethnan. Koz became the father of Anab, Zobeba, and the families of Aharhel, son of Haram. Jabez was honored more than his brothers. His mother named him Jabez, saying, "Because I bore him in pain." And there's actually a little book out there called the Prayer of Jabez, and here it is. Jabez called on the God of Israel, saying, "Oh, that you would bless me and enlarge my border, and that your hand might be with me, and that you would keep me from hurt and harm." And God granted what he asked. So I believe that the book, the Prayer of Jabez, basically says we need to pray that, and we need to ask for that, and maybe God will grant it for us too. Except his name is that he was born in pain. So his poor mother had pain in having him. And sometimes God blesses us with amazing things, and sometimes God blesses us with things that do not feel like blessings at the time. So do I really think that we should pray this as a prayer? Well, it worked for Jabez. I think mostly we should pray whatever God is calling us to pray. What is God laying in your heart? What is God calling you to do as far as how you walk with the Lord? Of course we want God to bless us. We are human, and at least I am very selfish and self-centered and want to be blessed. And the reality is we are all very, very blessed. And we all have hurt in our life. Verse 11, Chelub, the brother of Shuha, became the father of Meir, who was the father of Eshton. Eshton became the father of Bethrapha, Paseah, and Hinna, the father of Ir-Nahash. These are the men of Reka. The sons of Kenaz, Othniel and Seraiah. The sons of Othniel, Hatha, and Meonathai. Meonathai became the father of Ophrah. Sarai became the father of Joab, the father of Geharashim, so called because they were artisans. The sons of Caleb, son of Jephunneh, Iru, Elah, and Naam. The son of Elah, Kenaz. The son of Jehalalel, Ziphah, Tiria, and Asarel. The sons of Ezra, Jether, Mered, Epher, and Jalon. These are the sons of Bithiah, daughter of Pharaoh, whom Mered married. She conceived and bore Miriam, Shimei, Ishbah, the father of Eshtemoa, and his Judean wife bore Jered, father of Gedor, Heber, father of Soko, and Jekuthiel, father of Zanoah. So one of his wives was Egyptian and the daughter of a Pharaoh. The other one was not. Verse 19, the sons of the wife of Hodiah, the sister of Naham, were the fathers of Keilah, the Garmite, and Eshtemoa, the Maacathite. The sons of Shimon, Armon, Rimnah, Ben-Hanan, and Tilon. The sons of Ishai, Zoheth, and Ben-Zohath. The sons of Shelah were the sons of Judah, father of Lekah, Laadah, father of Marisha, and the families of the guild of linen workers at Bethabiah, and Joachim, the men of Kozeba, and Joash, and Seraph, who married into Moab, but returned to Lehem. Now the records are ancient. We have a footnote about this. So these are some really old things that the chronicler has pulled together to create a full history of at least Judah, but really most of Israel, but especially Judah. Verse 23, these were the potters and inhabitants of Netaim and Gedera. They lived there with the king in his service. 24, the sons of Simeon, Nemuel, Jamin, Jerib, Zerah, and Shaul. Shallum was his son, Mibsam his son, Mishma his son. The sons of Mishma, Hamuel his son, Zachar his son, Shimei his son. Shimei had 16 sons and 6 daughters, but his brothers did not have many children, nor did all their family multiply like the Judeans. They lived in Beersheba, Molada, Hazar Shual, Bilhah, Ezem, Tolad, Bethuel, Hormah, Ziklag, Beth Makarboth, Hazar Susim, Beth Biri, and Shearaim. These were their towns until David became king. And their villages were Etam, Ain, Rimmon, Tochen, Ashan, 5 towns along with all their villages that were around these towns as far as Baal. These were their settlements, and they kept a genealogical record, which obviously the chronicler has picked up and used and put into the records. Verse 34, Meshobab, Jamlech, Josha, son of Amaziah, Joel, Jehu, and son of Joshabiah, son of Sariah, son of Asahel, Elioimnai, Jacoba, Jeshoiah, Asaiah, Adiel, Josimiel, Benai, Ziza, son of Shiphi, son of Elon, son of Jediah, son of Shimri, son of Shemaiah. These mentioned by name were leaders in their families, and their clans increased greatly. They journeyed to the entrance of Gedor in the east side of the valley to seek pasture for their flocks, where they found rich, good pasture, and the land very broad, quiet, and peaceful, for the former inhabitants there belonged to Ham. These, registered by name, came in the days of King Hezekiah of Judah, and attacked their tents, and the Menunim who were found there, and exterminated them to this day, and settled in their place, because there was pasture there for their flocks. And some of them, 500 men of the Simeonites, went to Mount Seir, having as their leaders Pelatiah, Neariah, Rephai, and Uzziel, sons of Ishai. they destroyed the remnant of the Amalekites that had escaped, and they have lived there to this day. Chapter 5. Now we have Reuben. The sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel. He was the firstborn, but because he defiled his father's bed, his birthright was given to the sons of Joseph, son of Israel, so that he is not enrolled in the genealogy according to his birthright. Though Judah became prominent among his brothers and a ruler came from him, yet the birthright belonged to Joseph. The sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel. Hanok, Palu, Hezron, and Carmi. The sons of Joel, Shemaiah his son, Gog his son, Shimei his son, Micah his son, Reiah his son, Baal his son, Beera his son, whom King Tilgath-Pileser of Assyria carried away into exile. He was a chieftain of the Reubenites, and his kindred by their families, when the genealogy of their generations was reckoned, the chief Jeiel and Zechariah, and Bela son of Azaz, son of Shema, son of Joel, who lived in Aroer, as far as Nebo and Baal-meon. He also lived in the east, as far as the beginning of the desert this side of the Euphrates, because their cattle had multiplied in the land of Gilead. In those days of Saul they made war on the Hagrites, who fell by their hand, and they lived in their tents throughout all the region east of the Gilead. So we're talking about the eastern tribes who did not cross the Jordan River. Well, they crossed and helped fight, but they mostly settled east of the Jordan River. Now we have Gad. The sons of Gad lived beside them in the land of Bashan as far as Salakah, Joel the chief, Shaphan the second, Jani, and Shaphat in Bashan, and their kindred according to their clans, Michael, Meshulam, Sheba, Jorai, Jachin, Ziah, and Eber, 7. These were the sons of Abihail, son of Huri, son of Jeroeth, son of Gilead, son of Michael, son of Jeshishai, son of Jado, son of Buz, B-U-Z, Buz. Ahai, son of Jeshishai, son of Jado, I already had Buz. Let's try this again. Ahai, son of Abdiel, son of Guni, was chief of their clan. And they lived in Gilead, in Bashan and in its towns, and in all the pasture lands of Sharon to their limits. All of these were enrolled by genealogies in the days of King Jotham of Judah, and in the days of King Jeroboam of Israel. Verse 18, the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh had valiant warriors, who carried shield and sword, and who drew the bow, expert in war, 47,760, ready for service. They made war on the Hagrites, Jeter, Naphish, and Nodab, and when they received help against them, the Hagrites and all who were with them were given into their hands, for they cried to God in the battle, and he granted their entreaty, because they trusted in him. They captured their livestock, 50,000 of their camels, 250,000 sheep, 2,000 donkeys, and 100,000 captives. Many fell slain because the war was of God. They lived in their territory until the exile. Verse 23, the members of the half-tribe of Manasseh lived in the land. They were very numerous, from Bashan to Baal Hermon, Senir, and Mount Hermon. These were the heads of their clans: Epher, Ishai, Eliel, Azriel, Jeremiah, Hodaviah, and Jadiel, mighty warriors, famous men, heads of their clans. But they transgressed against God of their ancestors, and prostituted themselves to the gods of the peoples of the land, whom God had destroyed before them. So the God of Israel stirred up the spirit of King Pul of Assyria, and the spirit of King Tilgath-Pileser of Assyria, and he carried them away, namely the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, and brought them to Hala, Habor, Hera, and the river Gozam to this day. So we made it through 3 chapters. We have about 2.5 to 3 more to make it through all these names. And if you are still with me, wow, thank you. You're so kind. Either that or you don't know how to turn it off, or you're bored, or you're sleeping. But Thank you for being here. And yeah, this is where the prayer of Jabez was from this section. Um, all of these names, why are these names important? Well, if you were the descendant of one of those names, you found it very, very important. And actually, I met somebody today and she told me that she had looked up to see her name in the Bible, and it was in one of, literally, we read through it today, that one of the ladies that is mentioned is Abigail, and she has a son, Daniel. So she found this in the Bible. Of course, Abigail was mentioned earlier as wife of Nabal, who did poorly and who died, and then she became the wife of David. So some of it is just to kind of make all the connections and help how are people related, especially in the southern kingdom with Judah. The kings were pretty much the son of David, Solomon, Rehoboam, all the way down until they went to exile. And most of these books were either written while they were in exile or after they had come back from exile. So even though the people from the south were sent off to Babylon, there was still a lot of education and learning. The ones that they sent off were the ones that were the educated and the rich and the good quality people. So there was quite a bit of writing, reading, scholarship in the East, in Babylon, that actually continued significantly later. I think I mentioned in a previous session that actually once the country the country of Israel was formed after World War II, and Jewish people began coming to Israel from all over the world, a whole group of Jewish people came from what used to be Babylon and now Iran and Iraq. And they're known as the Ashkenazi Jews, and they're quite different from some of the other ones because they've been following some of these traditions for 2,000 years over in Babylon, which isn't Babylon anymore, but they're still there. So thank you for sticking with me. If you've stuck with me this long, I just cannot thank you enough. We've got, I think, one more session. I need water. Excuse me. One more session of lots of names, and then we can get into some stories and some history. And now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord look at you with favor and give you peace. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Go in peace. Like, subscribe, comment. If you're still here, thank you. I love you. Take care. Bye-bye.